What I am about to teach you takes less than 4 minutes to perform, but when you do it tonight, with the precision I am going to describe, with the exact intention I am going to walk you through, something in the energetic structure of your financial life begins to shift. I have watched it happen. Not once, not twice. I have watched it happen in families who had nothing and then, within weeks, found doors opening that they did not even know existed. This practice has been in my family for 4 generations. My great-grandmother brought it from Eastern Europe in the 1920s. She arrived in a new country without language, without connections, without a single coin that was certain. And yet within 2 years she had built a life that sustained 3 generations after her. People used to ask her what her secret was. She would smile and say, "I learned to speak to water before water had a chance to forget me." Most people who are working hard and still not moving forward, and I am speaking directly to you right now, are not lacking effort. They are not lacking discipline. They are not lacking intelligence. What they are lacking is alignment with the invisible structure that governs provision. You have been working in the physical world while the gate to your abundance is in the spiritual one. No amount of hustle reaches that gate. Only specific, deliberate spiritual technology can open it. For over 3,000 years, the teachers of the Kabbalistic tradition have preserved a principle called hashpa'ah, the principle of outpouring, of overflow, of abundance that does not trickle but floods. Salt and water are not symbols in this tradition. They are instruments. They carry frequency. They respond to intention. And when you combine them correctly, tonight, before you sleep, you initiate something that the physical world cannot block. I have spent 30 years studying within this tradition. My teacher's teacher learned directly from the sages of Safed, the city in northern Israel where the deepest mysteries of Kabbalah were written down for the first time in the 16th century. This knowledge was preserved for generations within private families, private rooms, private circles, not because it was forbidden, but because the sages understood that certain truths, given to someone who is not prepared to hold them, slip through the hands like water through a cracked vessel. I am releasing this now because the times we are living in demand it. You cannot afford to wait another year for the door to open on its own. But you must stay with me until the very end. If you leave before I give you the final element, the morning completion that seals the practice, the ritual is structurally incomplete. Missing it is the single reason most people do this and feel nothing. Stay with me. Before we go any further, I want you to type the words "Open the Gate" in the comments right now. Do it before we continue. When you write those words publicly, you are making a declaration. You are signaling to the spiritual structure of your life that you are ready to receive. Do not skip this. Type it now and then stay here. Now, I want to tell you something that most people in your life will never say to you, because most people in your life are as stuck as you are, and stuck people cannot diagnose the stuckness accurately. The reason your financial life has a ceiling, I mean specifically the ceiling you keep hitting, the months where it almost breaks through and then pulls back, the quiet exhaustion of effort without corresponding reward. The reason for all of that is not outside you. It is not the economy. It is not your past. It is a concept the ancient teachers called klipot, shells, husks, layers of energetic residue that accumulate around a person's financial life through specific behaviors, specific words, specific emotional patterns, and most devastatingly, through inherited beliefs about money that were never examined. You cannot see these shells in a bank statement, but you can feel them. You feel them in the tightness that arrives when an unexpected expense appears. You feel them in the quiet shame of being exactly where you were 12 months ago. You feel them in the belief, buried just below your daily thoughts, that abundance is for other people, that prosperity is somehow not yours to claim. This is not the behavior of someone who has failed. This is the behavior of someone who has been operating without the correct knowledge. And that is a completely different diagnosis. Failure is permanent. Missing knowledge can be restored. Salt in the ancient text is described as a purifier and a preserver. It was placed on every offering brought to the temple, not for flavor, not for decoration, but because the sages understood that salt carries a frequency that dissolves energetic residue. Water is the oldest carrier of intention in every wisdom tradition on earth. The Zohar, the central text of Kabbalistic wisdom, describes a practice it calls tikkun hashafah, a correction of the channel of abundance, a removal of the shell so the overflow can begin. That is exactly what we are doing tonight. I want to tell you about the night I almost walked away from all of this. I was 34 years old. It was a winter evening in Jerusalem, cold in a way that gets inside your coat before you have time to button it. I had been studying for 11 years by then. I had sat at the feet of teachers who could trace their lineage directly back through some of the greatest sages of the last 3 centuries. I had read the texts, I had practiced the disciplines, I had taught others, and my financial life was quietly falling apart. Not dramatically, not in a way that looked like crisis from the outside, but I had 2 children. My husband had lost his primary income 6 months earlier. We had savings, but they were moving in one direction only. I was doing everything I knew to do. I was applying every principle I had spent years learning, and nothing was moving. I remember sitting at my kitchen table at 11 o'clock at night, a cup of tea going cold beside me, and thinking, with a flat, exhausted honesty that is its own kind of prayer, that perhaps I had been teaching half of the truth. Perhaps I had the principles right, but had never gone deep enough into the mechanism. 3 weeks later, a teacher I had not spoken to in years called me unexpectedly. She was 81 years old. She had studied in circles that most people in my generation had no access to. She told me she had been thinking of me, and then she asked me directly, "Have you ever been taught the saltwater clearing? Not the symbolic version, but the precise operational version that was practiced in certain Eastern European communities before the war." I told her no. She taught me that night over the telephone. She was specific in a way that my usual teachers were not. She gave me exact quantities. She gave me exact words. She gave me the precise order of movements and the precise posture of intention required. She was unhurried. She told me everything. I performed it that same night in my kitchen at midnight. I did not feel anything dramatic. I felt, if I am honest, a strange quiet, like a noise I had grown so used to that I had stopped hearing it, had suddenly stopped. 48 hours later, my husband received a call about consulting work he had applied for and forgotten about. 2 weeks after that, a project I had submitted months earlier was accepted at a fee that was twice what I had invoiced. 6 weeks from that night at my kitchen table, our financial situation had not just stabilized, it had moved into territory we had not occupied before. I do not tell you this as a miracle story. I tell you this as a report from the field. The timing was specific, the shift was real, and I have now taught this exact practice to hundreds of people across 4 continents, and what tends to follow, within days or weeks, is movement. A door that had been sealed begins to ease, an opportunity reappears, a call comes, a need is met from a direction no one planned. I have seen this pattern repeat too many times across too many different lives to describe it as coincidence. The practice works because it is not magic. It is alignment. It is the removal of the residue and the reopening of the channel. And tonight, I am going to give you the exact same thing that 81-year-old teacher gave me over the phone in Jerusalem in the middle of winter. Here is what you need. You need sea salt, not table salt, not Himalayan pink salt for this specific purpose. Sea salt, unrefined if you can find it. You need a glass of clean water. You need a white cloth or a sheet of white paper. White is not decoration here. White is the color the ancient teachers associated with clarity and the opening of channels. You need a quiet space where you will not be interrupted for 15 minutes. And you need full attention, not half attention, not one eye on your phone, full presence. The effectiveness of this practice is directly proportional to the quality of your attention. Do not do this if you are in a state of acute anxiety that you cannot first settle. The ancient teachers were precise on this point. An agitated vessel cannot hold abundance. Before you begin, sit for 3 minutes and breathe. Slow the body. I know you are tired. I know you have had a long day. Sit anyway. 3 minutes of stillness before this practice is not optional. It is the preparation that makes the rest functional. When you are ready, fill the glass halfway with clean water. Stand at a surface, a table, a counter, and hold the glass in both hands together. The right hand is the hand of giving in the tradition. The left hand is the hand of receiving. You hold both because in this moment, you are both the one who initiates and the one who receives. You are both the channel and the vessel. Look at the water. Do not look away. Look directly at the water and speak aloud, not in your mind, aloud, with your actual voice, these words. I acknowledge that my channel has been blocked. I do not know by what in full. I acknowledge the residue of fear, of scarcity, of inherited limits. I release these now. I ask that this water carry them away from me and from every member of my household. Now take the sea salt, no more than 1 full teaspoon, and add it to the water slowly. Watch the salt descend into the water. Do not rush this. The sages taught that the dissolution of the shell happens at the moment the salt dissolves in the water. Watch it. As it dissolves, speak these words aloud. As this dissolves, so dissolves every energetic barrier between me and the provision that is appointed for my life. Stir the water with your right index finger, only your right index finger, 7 times in a clockwise direction. 7 is the number of completion in the tradition. You are completing a circuit. You are finishing the dissolution. Do not use a spoon. Your finger carries the frequency of your intention in a way that no object does. 7 times, clockwise. Do it slowly. Now carry the glass to the entrance of your home, the front door, the main door, the threshold you cross most often. Hold the glass at the level of your heart and speak these words aloud. I open this threshold to provision. I open this home to harvest. I open my life to the overflow that my ancestors prayed for and that I claim now in their name and in the name of every generation that will come after me. Now pour half the water across the threshold, outside the door if you can step outside. If you live in an apartment and cannot pour outside, pour it at the base of the door on the inside. The direction of the pour is outward, symbolically moving the blockage away, symbolically inviting the flow in. Half the glass only. Return to your preparation space with the remaining half. Sit down. Hold the glass again in both hands. Now speak the declaration. This is the part, and I say this not to shame you, but to call you into precision, because this specific step is where most people become sloppy. This is the part most people rush or whisper or skip because they feel self-conscious speaking aloud in their own kitchen. That self-consciousness is itself a shell. The embarrassment of declaring your abundance in an empty room is exactly the behavior that keeps the channel sealed. Do not be embarrassed in front of your own walls. Speak these words with your full voice. I am a channel of provision. I do not merely survive. I overflow. What enters my life multiplies. What I give returns to me pressed down and running over. I am aligned now. The channel is open. I receive. Drink the remaining water, all of it, slowly. As you drink, hold the intention of receiving, not striving, not forcing, receiving. The difference matters more than most people realize. The sages were explicit. The posture of striving closes the hand. The posture of receiving opens it. Drink slowly. Receive. Now take the white cloth or white paper and fold it once. Write on it, with any pen, any ink, a single number. A specific financial number that represents a real, possible, measurable shift in your life. Not an imaginary figure, not the total transformation of your financial existence. One real shift. A specific amount you need or a specific threshold you are asking to cross. The number must be concrete, not more money, a number. Write it. Fold the paper around the number and place it beneath your pillow tonight. You will sleep on this declaration. In the tradition of the Magidim, the teachers of inner revelation, sleep is not empty time. Sleep is the precise moment when an intention reaches the layer of reality that waking effort and waking logic cannot access. Your analytical mind will not argue with this while you sleep. Your ego will not intercept it. This is not poetry. This is the strategic use of the one time in every day when the shell cannot defend itself. Leave the paper beneath the pillow for 7 nights. On the 8th morning, remove it and burn it if you can, or discard it in running water. The number has been transmitted. The object no longer needs to remain. Let it go without grasping at the specific form its fulfillment will take. Now I have to warn you about something, because every teacher who passed this to me always warned those they taught, and it would be a disservice to give you the practice without the preparation that makes it navigable. Within the first 3 to 5 days after you perform this tonight, something will arrive to test the opening. It is almost always something that looks like the opposite of what you asked for. An unexpected expense, a delay, a rejection, a moment that makes you feel like you did the practice incorrectly, or that it simply did not work. I want you to hear this clearly before it happens. That moment is not a sign of failure. That moment is a sign that it is working. The ancient teachers called this the test of the threshold, the specific pressure that arrives at the exact boundary of change to determine whether you will step through or step back. Most people step back. They say, "I knew it wouldn't work." They close the channel themselves at the precise moment it was about to open fully. When this comes, and I am telling you directly that it will come, do not interpret it as the end. Interpret it as confirmation. Speak the 3 words again. The channel is open. Then hold steady. The opening has already happened on the spiritual level. The test is not about money. The test is about whether you trust the process enough to stand at the threshold without retreating. This is the exact moment that separates the people I have witnessed break through from the people I have witnessed return to their old ceiling. Stay at the threshold. Hold. If this teaching has reached you today, I want you to understand that what I shared here is one practice from a complete architecture. The salt and water clearing is the opening movement. It removes what has been blocking the channel. But the tradition does not stop there. After the channel is opened, there are specific practices for maintaining the opening, for what you speak over your money when you receive it, for how you release it when you spend it, for the words you attach to your financial decisions that determine whether those decisions plant seeds or drain the soil. I have spent the last 3 years compiling all of it, the opening practices, the maintenance practices, the harvest practices, the protection practices, into one complete, organized, ordered body of teaching. Everything I learned across 30 years, everything that 81-year-old teacher gave me, everything I have observed in hundreds of people across 4 continents. It is all there in the order it was meant to be received, with nothing missing. The link to that complete resource is below this video. You do not need to piece this together from fragments. You do not need to search through texts that were never designed to be read without a guide. Everything is there. The architecture is complete. Before you go, I want to know something. Tell me in the comments the one thing you are applying first. Not a general statement. I mean the one specific element of this practice that landed for you most directly. Was it the threshold pour? The declaration? The number beneath the pillow? The morning completion I am about to give you? Name it. Be specific. I want to know who is taking action tonight, because naming what you will do is itself an act of alignment. I am in the comments. I respond. Your declaration is not going into a void. If what I shared today has opened something for you, if it has named something you have been living inside without language for it, subscribe to this channel, not as a number, as a commitment to receive the next layer. Everything I share here is part of a continuous, sequential body of teaching. Each video is one more element of what I was taught. Subscribe so that each piece reaches you in order, rather than you finding it scattered and out of sequence. And if this teaching stirred something real in you today, something that felt true in a place deeper than your thoughts, press the like button. Press it for the person who is sitting in their kitchen right now at 11 o'clock at night with a cup of tea going cold beside them, who is searching for exactly this teaching, and who will only find it if enough people tell the platform it matters. May your threshold be open. May your channel be clear. May the provision that is appointed for your life find no more resistance on its way to you. Shalom.